This is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we're taking a look at the Thermaltake Toughram XG RGB D5 7200 megatransfers per second 32GB kit. This is an Intel XMP 3.0 ready kit, ideally suited for the X790 platform for those Intel users, but don't worry, if you are on the AMD platform using AM5, you can use it. It doesn't support Expo directly, but you can still use XMP, of which I have done in my testing today to check out what it's like speed-wise and stability and all that kind of good stuff, and also so we could take a good look at the RGB, of which it has some absolutely very splendid RGB. Obviously, you know, if you watch this channel on a regular basis, I do like RGB, and this has got you covered. You can choose to use either the Thermaltake TT RGB software, in which you can go in, you can individually control every single one of the 16 LEDs on the RAM sticks. Now, before you get too excited, there's only 8 on each stick, so yeah, don't be thinking it's some crazy overload of RGB, but you can control it, do what you like, turn colors on, off, whatever. And you can use the Thermaltake Neon Creator set as well, so you can make all these crazy patterns should you wish to. Or if you just want to play it a little bit safer, you don't have to use the Thermaltake software, you can just use your motherboard's built-in software. I managed to do it absolutely fine with the MSI Center on our PC behind, and yeah, basically you can do pretty much most of the same thing. So if maybe you don't want to use the Thermaltake software, you want to use your motherboard software, not going to have any problems at all. Compatibility with Asus, MSI, Gigabyte, ASRock, etc, etc. So in today's video, we'll go through, take a quick look at the packaging, see what it's all about, look at the specifications, etc. I have done some very basic benchmarking. Unfortunately, with the AM5 platform, it's not ideal for these super high RAM speeds. Maybe that will come with time with the next iteration of the AM5 processors. Maybe the 8000 series will increase what you can use. At the moment, the memory controller on Ryzen really ideally likes work on a kind of 1-to-1 ratio. So when you go over and above, it kind of gets a little bit upset. Intel systems, on the other hand, do actually seem to benefit slightly more than Ryzen currently when it comes to fast DDR5, and of which this is pretty much the fastest that I've seen on the market so far at 7200 megatransfers per second. And you're probably wondering, how does that actually relate into actual real world speeds? So we'll take a look at that a little bit later. It's somewhat disappointing, but if you do want the absolute best in performance, then you do have to pay a slight premium for it. And talking of pricing, as of the time of recording this video, I don't have confirmed UK pricing on this, but by the time the video goes out to all you good people out there, there will be some links in the video description so you can click on those and see what the latest pricing is. I'm hoping that it should be in line with other brands of DDR5 memory, especially some of the more premium ones like Corsairs and G.Skill, etc, etc. But with that, time will definitely tell. Anyway, taking a look at the RAM, so as you can see, this is the white version, or the snow version, as Thermaltake quite often like to call it. You can get this in the black version as well. Choice is entirely up to you, and also there is a wide range of speeds available in the Thermaltake XG RGB RAM series, from somewhere around about 5600 MHz or mega transfers up to the heady heights of 7200 and potentially further as time goes on. Obviously, do check out the links to find out what is available locally to you. Again, when it says about RGB, so you do have full compatibility with the Thermaltake TT RGB Plus software. You can also integrate this with Alexa as well. So if you want to use Alexa to control your lighting in conjunction with the Thermaltake software, you certainly can do. I'm not too sure if anyone does that. If you do, please let me know in the comment section and maybe you'll get a prize. Also, like we said, it works with the Thermaltake Neon Maker software, and you've got 16 addressable RGBs, which we've mentioned already. And yeah, it's Toughram XG RGB D5, so D5 standing for DDR5. There is XG RGB D4, which is the DDR4 version, so make sure you get the right stuff for your motherboard. On the back of the box, pretty much going over the same specifications again, so just a reiteration of it and some of the actual key features on this. So some of the key features, as with all Thermaltake Toughram and pretty much most of their range, to be honest with you, they do use tightly screened ICs or chips, so they do make sure they're screened for stability, performance, etc, etc, and that they're balanced as well. And also, when it comes to the RAM nowadays, with DDR5, this also includes ECC as standard, so there is an error correction chip actually built in to the actual module itself to reduce on those problematic things such as crashes, blue screens of death and other errors which can be transmitted when transmitting data at this high frequency. When it comes to the actual construction itself, so there is a 2-ounce copper strip in there as well for cooling, etc, and also there is a 10-layer PCB, which is pretty common amongst high-end quality RAM, but it's always worth noting and actually worth checking as well. If you're buying RAM, if you're looking around at pricing, don't always assume just because the specs look the same that the construction is the same. That isn't always the case. So I've been sat there like a plum with a box in my hand for ages. Let's have a look at the actual RAM. And I've got to say, I do like the Thermaltake Toughram, especially the XG stuff. I think it's a very unique look, and the way that the cross works from the heat spreader. So going from the two colours, so you've got white and silver, or silver and white, depending which side you're on. And you've got a little bit of accent colour in the middle with that mirror finish, black chrome, like that a lot. Obviously, RGB wise, you've got RGB strips all the way down there. You're probably seeing that from B-roll, or if you want to, just basically look behind me, because I've got the 6000 mega transfer set actually in the PC behind me. This is essentially its bigger, more grown-up brother. So overall, very nice contrasting look to them. Again, it will fit in with pretty much most builds, and actually it works really well in my build because there's elements of the black chrome, we've got the silver there as well, and also the white. So in my case, you've got the NVIDIA graphics card with the silver, you've got the white, obviously the case and other components. So yeah, it does blend in really nicely. Again, two colours available, so you can pretty much get it to fit in with your design scheme and to make it all look very nice. Of which the RGB lighting I always find looks really nice on these, really nicely diffused, and again, very easy to control in either the TT RGB Plus software or your favourite motherboard software. So I suppose we really should look at some benchmarks. Now, I will say there are limited benefits. As you get to a certain point with RAM, there's always that sweet spot. And at the moment for DDR5, the sweet spot does appear to be around about 6000 mega transfers or megahertz, however you want to look at it. That is pretty much the sweet spot in terms of both performance and also pricing. This is always the way. Like with previous DDR4, we had DDR4 3600, which again was that pretty sweet spot. But when we do increase the performance, we do get a little bit extra out of it. So let's take a look at some results that I've got from testing today. I've only used 3 different sets. So first of all, we went with some Kingston RAM, Kingston Fury. This is DDR5 5600 mega transfers. Tested that. Then also the Thermaltake Toughram XG D5 6000 MHz set, which is currently in the PC behind me, as you can see. And also with this as well, the Toughram XG RGB D5 7200 megatransfers per second. So let's take a look on the screen and see what the results are. So as you can see, as we were kind of expecting, there is a little bit of a fall off. Now there is definitely a marked improvement when we go from the 5600 megatransfers to the 6000 megatransfers, especially on the AM5 platform. Where things do take a little bit of a dip there is when we take that jump from 6000 megatransfers to 7200. Again, especially on the AM5 platform, the memory controller just doesn't really take advantage of that extra frequency that is available to it. So in terms of actual numbers, so we get 3712 points with the Kingston Fury, we get 3819 points with the Toughram XG 6000, so that's basically 100 points more. When we take the jump up to the 7200 mega transfers, then we're looking at 3842. So a very, very small jump there. When we went from 5600 to 6000, we're looking at about 100 points. When we go from the 6000 up to the 7200, which is a considerable jump in terms of frequency, the difference is very minimal, and that is where you get the trade-off. So if you do want the absolute ultimate in performance and you don't mind paying for it, then I think that is the way to go. For me personally, and for those of you that are watching this, if you're considering buying RAM, if you want the best of the best, certainly go ahead and spend your money on the fastest kit you can possibly buy. If you want value for money and performance to be kind of in sync with each other, then for me personally, I think the 6000 mega transfer set is the way to go. But of course, as always, I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are, so please let me know those in the comments section below. And again, if you do want to find out the latest pricing and also more information on these RAM sticks, then do check out the links in the video description. They will be updated, so you can find out all the information local to you. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.